Welcome to the Donnie Weddle Show. Hey, coming to you live on Facebook. You're watching episode 1. Hey, just a disclaimer. This is not a commercial. However, I do have to let you know that I am a licensed real estate agent affiliated with Keller Williams Preferred. Okay, so while I got a few of you waiting to log on, I want to just welcome a few of you that I see out there today. I appreciate you getting on with me. Give me a like. Give me a comment. Tell me what's going on in your world. Hopefully you'll enjoy the content that I'm going to bring to you. Content that I'm going to bring to you today is a video. It is about the terms of real estate. What I mean by that, the acronyms and terms that people use when they're discussing what's going on. So it's going to be information to help buyers and sellers walk through a transaction and understand a little bit of it. This is just the beginning of the episode. There's many to come, so we'll kind of get started from there. The area that I would like to start with is probably, let's talk about CMAs or acronyms. Different. You know what? Let me jump back into that for a second. The episode 1 is about real estate terms. This video is to educate you on some of the terms we're going to use in real estate. And if I covered that, I apologize, but I want to make sure that we're clear on that. Some people think that this episode is about selling your home, and it's not. That happens actually next week, and I'll touch on that briefly today. However, if you're thinking of selling your home, hopefully you have a real estate agent that is helping you. One thing that agent's going to do for you is they're going to run CMAs to aid you in setting a listing price, and that's key. But once you've decided on a listing price, then they're going to upload it to the MLS, and that's where I get to those acronyms, that CMA and that MLS. Well, MLS stands for Multiple Listing Service. That is a computer-based service that provides real estate professionals with detailed listings of most homes currently on the market. A CMA, that's a comparative market analysis, or a competitive market analysis. A CMA is a report that shows you the prices of homes comparable to your subject property that were recently sold and are currently on the market, or were on the market but not sold within the listing period. Typically we look back 6 months, and that's usually the same time frame as a listing period. So if you have a home that hasn't sold in that listing period time, then there's usually an issue with pricing or things of that nature. So let's just imagine that you and your agent did a good job and you've priced your home properly. It's on the MLS, you're getting some showings, and a buyer's made a decision to buy your home. Their agent will write up a contract, and this is known as an offer. Your agent will go over their offer with you and discuss all options available to you. So, you know, what essentially boils down to is a real estate contract. It's a contract between parties for the purchase and sale, exchange, or other conveyance of real estate. However, the contract is not valid until acceptance. And what is acceptance? Well, acceptance is agreeing to the terms of an offer, thereby creating a contract. As soon as you, the seller, signs the purchase offer, you're in contract for the sale of the house. And neither of you can back out without facing consequences. In the buyer's case, losing their earnest money deposit. And in your seller's case, a potential lawsuit. So make sure that you follow and read through your contract properly. Now let's talk about his earnest money deposit, or her earnest money deposit. An EMD, as it's called, is a partial payment or deposit demonstrating commitment in a contractual relationship, and commonly made in real estate transactions, as I've mentioned, during making the purchase offer. The remainder of the payment is due at the closing table. The seller keeps the earnest money if the buyer fails to make timely payment in full, meaning they can't bring the money to the table because they couldn't get their loan. There are some clauses in the contract that allows either the seller or the buyer to cancel the contract if one of them is in breach, and we'll cover that next week. So now I want to move on to escrow. Escrow is the holding of funds and documents, by a natural third party prior to the closing of your home. They're usually held by title companies, but they can be held by the listing broker. So let's say you didn't accept and you make a counteroffer. A counteroffer is the rejection of an offer to enter into a contract, where the rejecting party includes a different offer that changes the terms of the original offer in some way or form. Let me break it down, make it simple. A buyer offers you $350,000 for a house. You want $375,000. So you have your agent make a counteroffer. The first offer has been rejected and is no longer valid. So the legal significance of a counteroffer is that it completely voids the original offer. Okay, now let's just move on and look at it from a positive note, saying, okay, your counteroffer was accepted by the buyer, so it's known as a buyer acceptance. The next thing that comes into play is time reference date, or TRD. That's one of those terms that I was speaking of, or acronyms. This is the day that all the timing starts. It's not really the day that you sign the contract or the offer is made. It's the date, the TRD date that's on the contract. In most states, there's going to be approximately a 10-day inspection period that will actually go back to the TRD date. And of course, it's recommended that all buyers get inspections. And once they get their inspections, then there is a time frame that they have to give you a report of the TRR, or the Treatments, Repairs, Replacements Review. Usually within 24 hours of the inspection time frame ending, the buyer's agent is to produce the repairs requested. The buyer and seller in a typical contract have 7 days to negotiate what will be repaired, replaced, or treated. Now, the seller has the right to refuse any part or all of the request. And if this happens, then the buyer has the right to cancel his contract. But let's move forward. Buyer and seller have a valid contract, and things are moving on. The buyer will go through the process of obtaining funds to purchase the property at closing. Some buyers use cash for the purchase, but in most cases, the buyer will go to a mortgage broker or traditional bank and borrow the money. There's a whole list of acronyms when dealing with banking, and I'll cover those on another video as well. But let me cover at least one or two more with you just right now. We're going to talk about an appraisal. An appraisal is a determination of the value of something, such as the house you plan to sell. When doing on a home, a professional appraiser who should be qualified, a specialist in the real estate appraisals with expertise in the local geographic area, makes an estimate by examining the property, looking at the initial purchase price, and comparing it to recent sales, much like our CMAs. The buyer's bank or other lender will be the ones that require the appraisal in order to ascertain the funding to purchase the home. So let's say the bank loan is approved because the appraisal came in, everything was wonderful. Now the closing is scheduled. Let's move ahead to the time for closing. You're going to see a settlement statement come to you about 3 days before you expect it to close. Once you do that, the agent's going to go over it with you. Okay. Now another term you're going to hear at that time frame would be closing costs. And that's real simple. It's all the settlement or transaction charges above and beyond the actual cost of the property that the home buyers or sellers, depending on the tradition in your area, negotiate who's going to pay what. And then, of course, those will be paid at escrow when the property is transferred. These typically include lender fees, points, prepaid interest, prorated share of property taxes, deed filing fees, real estate agents, commission, things of that nature. And the list goes on and on and on. Again, that'll be in a future broadcast talking more about buying and actually selling of the home. So that's just a quick rundown of selling a home while highlighting the terms and acronyms. So as I mentioned, this was a way just to make you aware of some of the terms so you get a little bit of feeling of what goes on in a real estate transaction. Next week, I'll go over the selling process of a home, so stay tuned. Again, next Monday at 1 p.m., I'll be doing the processes of selling a home. So be in the know, watch my show, DW Talks, Market Trends, Buying and Selling Tips. Now, give me a like, give me a share, comment out there for me, and y'all have a great day.